Welcome to HFY Sci-Fi Stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss new stories. Aboard Galactic Academy Station, the conference room buzzed with the quiet arrogance born from 3 centuries of hegemony dominance. Commander Voron, of the Hegemony Defense Corps, subtly adjusted his ceremonial spine ridges as he settled into his chair, already anticipating the day's amusement. "Gentlemen," he announced, his voice laced with condescension, "we review the final species application for this cycle's cadet program." Professor Quintile's tentacles twitched with barely suppressed glee. "Let me guess, another insignificant species deluded into thinking their squabbles qualify as military experience." "Better." Commander Vorthon's mandibles clicked in a grin only his species understood. "Humans, from a tiny mudball called Earth." The room erupted in laughter. Dean Zalmuth nearly choked. "Humans?" Training Supervisor Yields squeaked, his voice rising. "Those soft-skinned bipeds from the Outer Rim, still using projectile weapons?" Vorthon dramatically activated the holographic display. "Apparently, they believe their physical standards meet Academy requirements." More laughter echoed. Captain Rethel wiped tears from his multifaceted eyes. "Oh, this will be priceless. Are they next going to claim they can survive in a vacuum?" Now, Professor Quintile gestured for order, his voice trembling with suppressed mirth. "Let us be fair. The Academy prides itself on equal opportunity humiliation." The projector flickered to life. "Standard Physical Assessment Protocol, Human Military Academy. Candidate, Tyler Brooks, age 17. Classification, Basic Infantry Trainee." Dean Kalmuth's gills fluttered in disbelief. "They're sending us a child? It gets better." Vorthon scrolled through the application. "Listen to this. Hobbies include rock climbing, marathon running, and mixed martial arts. As if combat between species foolish enough to touch each other could be considered martial." The video began, revealing a primitive training facility, concrete walls, antiquated metal equipment, and harsh lighting painful to most species. "Look at that equipment," Yields whispered. "So crude. Where are the gravity modulators, the neural enhancement fields?" A young human male stepped into view, average height, lean, unremarkable. He wore simple fabric clothing and ridiculous foot coverings. "That's him." Captain Rethel leaned forward. "He looks like he'd shatter if you breathed on him too hard." The human, Tyler, approached what they called a pull-up bar, a simple metal rod. A hush fell over the faculty as Tyler, suspended between expectations, began his ascent. Professor Quintile's anticipation coiled like a tightening spring. Witnessing the human's struggle, Tyler surged upward, his rhythmic pull-ups a mesmerizing dance. 1, 2, 3, his voice echoed through the chamber. Dean Zalmuth's initial amusement melted into a grudging respect. "Remarkable," he admitted, for a species deemed primitive. Each repetition pushed the limits of comprehension. 4, 5, 6. Vithon's satisfaction palpable, a silent countdown to a critical threshold. 7, 8, 9. Captain Rethel's clicking mandibles ceased. 10, 11, 12. Yilnex conceded, his tone tinged with astonishment. For a being from a world of despair, 15, 16, 17. Professor Quintile's tentacles, once a symbol of vibrant curiosity, now stilled, a frozen testament to the unfolding spectacle. How could this continue? 20, 21, 22. Commander Voron leaned forward, his chair scraping against the polished floor as the room silenced, save the rhythmic counts and the murmur of the ventilation system. 25, 26, 27. Dean Zalmuth's voice cracked, laced with disbelief. This had to be a mistake. The gravity on their World N8 standard units, nearly full gravity, was a defining force. Captain Rathel's compound eyes widened. How was this human defying such a powerful force? 30, 31, 32. The human's form, a flawless ballet against the backdrop of immense pressure, showed no sign of fatigue. Up and down, a relentless rhythm, like a perfectly calibrated machine. 40, 41, 42. The faculty stared, spellbound, as this supposedly primitive species surpassed their finest technological achievements. 60, 61, 62. Professor Quintile's voice, a mere whisper, resonated with alarm. Commander Vorthon, his claws trembling, checked the timestamp. Only 3 minutes into the assessment, a 47-minute ordeal. Dean Zalmuth, unable to contain his anxiety, abruptly stood, his chair scraping against the floor. I need to check something." Sir Yilnex's voice cracked, a blend of terror and disbelief. "Sir, he's not slowing down." The screen showed Tyler completing his 100th repetition, his graceful descent, arms shaking, a testament to his superhuman power. "Cool," he said, to an unseen companion. "What's next?" The camera shifted, revealing an obstacle course that dwarfed the Academy's advanced simulations. Walls to scale, ropes to traverse, hurdles to vault, weights to carry that would shatter most species. "Oh no," whispered Captain Rethval. "Oh no." Tyler approached the first wall 3 meters high. Without hesitation, without equipment, he launched himself upward, hands finding purchase, pulling himself over in a fluid motion. Professor Quintile's pale tentacles trembled. Their cadets needed anti-gravitational assistance for anything over 2 meters. Driven forward, the human surged towards the upcoming challenge, a series of parallel bars, artfully set at varied heights, meticulously crafted to gauge agility and coordination. Tyler glided over them with an astonishing fluidity, mere wisps of contact before propelling himself to the next. "This is impossible," Dean Zalmuth stammered, having returned to his seat, his expression one of pure, unadulterated alarm. No unaugmented biological entity should possess such capabilities. Tyler then encountered a segment demanding the transport of immense weight, solid concrete blocks, it seemed, while traversing a winding, intricate path. He seized 2 blocks, cradling them in each arm, and began to run. "Running?" Commander Vorthon's voice had faded to a hushed incredulity. "What is the mass of those blocks?" The specifications confirmed a staggering 50 kilograms each. Each! The human was now jogging, effortlessly carrying an additional 100 kilograms as if on a casual afternoon ramble. Supervisor Yilnex emitted a sound that could only be described as a pathetic whimper. "Our strength-augmented combat units rely on powered exoskeletons to carry half that load." On screen, Tyler had conquered the weighted carry and progressed to what their species termed rope climbing. A formidable cord, roughly 15 meters in length, hung suspended from the ceiling. Tyler approached it, his hands and feet gripping the fibers, and began his ascent. Hand over hand, foot over foot, he lifted his entire body, defying gravity with smooth, efficient, and utterly effortless motion. 15 meters? Professor Quintile's voice was a mere whisper. Unassisted, in full gravity. At the summit, Tyler struck a bell, then descended with the same remarkable grace, his breathing entirely undisturbed. "Time check," he called out, his voice steady. "How am I doing?" "Great pace," a voice responded from off-camera. 40% complete, and you're 3 minutes ahead of your personal best. Personal best. It was clear this was far from his maximum exertion. Commander Vorthon's ceremonial spinal ridges had flattened completely against his skull, a primal defensive response not seen since their species' perilous era on their predator-infested homeworld. "What kind of world?" Dean Zalmuth asked, his voice unnervingly slow. "Produces creatures like this." Captain Rethval frantically consulted his datapad. "Earth. Let me see. Atmospheric composition. 21% oxygen, 78% nitrogen, a high oxygen environment. High oxygen might explain enhanced metabolism, Professor Quintile murmured, but not this level of physical prowess. Wait! Captain Rethol's voice ascended in pitch. There's more! Seasonal temperature variations of up to 60 degrees Celsius, frequent seismic activity, violent weather patterns, including rotating windstorms, exceeding 300 kilometers per hour. The chamber fell into a profound silence, broken only by the image of Tyler on screen, now navigating a simulated combat zone, crawling beneath barriers barely half a meter high. Volcanic activity? Supervisor Yil Nex inquired. Weekly. Extensive. The planet boasts thousands of active volcanic sites. Predatory fauna. He paused, his gaze fixed on the data. According to this, their ancestors evolved while being hunted by creatures called lions, bears, and something known as, behold, a crocodile, a creature seemingly untouched by time, its ancient design, honed over 200 million years, a testament to its lethal perfection. Professor Quintal's tentacles, now stark white, had adapted to intense predation and the relentless forces of seismic instability and brutal weather. On screen, Tyler completed the treacherous climbing section, facing his ultimate test, a series of suspended rings across a chasm of certain injury. With breathtaking agility, he launched, grasping the first ring, then the second, then the third, each swing building a mesmerizing momentum, transforming him into a primitive aerial artist. That's a 12-meter crossing, Dean Zelmuth stated, his voice hollow with disbelief. Our elite aerial combat specialists utilize repulsor belts for gaps half that distance. Tyler seized the final ring, propelled forward, and landed with flawless grace on the platform. A glance at his wrist chronometer revealed a grin. Not bad. Just 15 more minutes of cardio. This had merely been his warm-up. The camera followed him to a running track, where he began moving at a pace his species would deem a respectable sprint. Yet he wasn't sprinting. He was settling into a long-distance run. Commander Vorthon slowly, his hand quivering, reached for the pause button. "We must convene an emergency faculty meeting," he announced, his voice strained. The summons for the emergency faculty meeting was issued for 0800 hours. By 0745, half the Academy's senior staff were already gathered in the hushed, secure briefing chamber, their whispers a spectrum of deep concern to outright terror. Dean Zalmuth, his usual calm shattered, paced behind the podium, his composure cracking like a damaged viewport. "Ladies, gentlemen, and distinguished colleagues," he began, then faltered, starting anew. "We have a serious situation." "That's an understatement," Professor Quintal grumbled, his tentacles still pale from the previous day's viewing. "I haven't slept since yesterday. Every time I close my eyes, I see that human child scaling that rope." Commander Vorthon activated the central holographic projector. After extensive consultation with our xenobiology department and 3 independent physics review boards, we've confirmed our initial assessment was woefully inadequate. Supervisor Yil Nex hesitantly raised a trembling appendage. "Sir, regarding that physics consultation, they initially insisted our measurements were flawed. Upon reviewing the raw footage, 2 of them requested immediate transfers." "What we witnessed yesterday," Dean Zalmuth continued, his voice heavy, "was not an anomaly. According to Earth's military academy standards, Tyler Brooks achieved the 73rd percentile for his age group." The chamber erupted into a cacophony of clicks, chitters, and a palpable wave of interspecies panic. 73rd percentile? Captain Rethvol's compound eyes froze, a profound sign of shock within his species. "You mean to tell us that 30% of human 17-year-olds possess a superior physical capability to..." "Far more capable than any prior subject. That, however, is not the truly unsettling discovery." Commander Vorthon's mandibles clicked with an agitated rhythm. The truly concerning part emerged when we processed his performance through our most rigorous combat simulation protocols. The hologram shifted, revealing a complex, three-dimensional training environment, the Academy's most brutal crucible, designed to forge elite special forces from broken veterans. Standard protocol, Dean Zalmuth clarified, dictates we introduce new species to our Level 1 scenario. Basic tactics, moderate threats, a meticulously controlled environment. We adjust parameters for species-specific capabilities and environmental factors. Professor Quintal's tentacles writhed with palpable unease. We inputted the human's raw physical data and ran a preliminary simulation. The primary simulation computer, it simply crashed, Supervisor Yelnick stated, his voice devoid of all inflection. I beg your pardon? The simulation computer, it crashed. The very AI governing the scenario failed. It could not reconcile the sheer physical capabilities with the absence of technological augmentation. Commander Vorthon activated a new display, showcasing a torrent of cascading error messages in 17 different languages. The system kept trying to compensate for what it assumed were sensor malfunctions. When we finally got it running, we had to manually bypass 67 crucial safety protocols. What happened in the simulation? Asked Weapons Instructor Plexar, who had just arrived, his skepticism still etched on his features. Dean Zalmuth's normally stern expression now seemed etched with profound, almost haunted, disbelief. The human, or rather, the simulation running human parameters, utterly conquered our Level 7 scenario. An oppressive, absolute silence descended upon the chamber. Level 7, Weapons Instructor Plexar repeated, his voice slow with dawning comprehension. That's reserved solely for our most elite graduates, fully augmented with advanced combat and tactical support systems. The simulated human completed it. Unaugmented, Professor Quintal whispered, the word barely a sound. Our reigning champion, a fully modified Zenuran war veteran, took 42 minutes. This simulation finished in 38. That's utterly impossible, Plexar protested, disbelief warring with the facts. Level 7 throws individuals into vertical assault scenarios, hostile environment survival trials, and combat situations designed to liquefy most organic life forms. Show him the terrain analysis, Commander Vorthon said grimly. The hologram shifted again, revealing Earth's topographical data. Towering mountains that seemed to scrape the very sky. Abyssal canyons plunging into perpetual darkness. Oceans so vast they could engulf entire star systems. And volatile weather patterns that suggested the planet itself was actively hostile to all life. Their home world, Dean Zalmuth stated quietly, makes our brutal Level 7 scenario appear nothing more than a casual relaxation chamber. Weapons Instructor Plexar studied the data. His defensive spines slowly, instinctively, began to rise. These atmospheric pressure variations, these temperature extremes, no wonder their bodies are so dense. They aren't merely adapted to their environment. They are forged by, and intrinsically linked to, an environment actively trying to eradicate life. And it only worsens, Supervisor Yelnick stated, activating another display. We reached out to Earth, requesting additional assessment footage. They were surprisingly eager to comply. The hologram shimmered, revealing what appeared to observing a group of human children, none older than young Tyler, engaged in what they termed high school athletics, their educational system's physical activity program. Professor Quintile's voice was a mere whisper, not military training, not special forces preparation, merely basic school exercise requirements. On screen, human teenagers were running, leaping, hurling objects, and competing in feats that would demand significant technological aid for most Academy cadets to even attempt. That one, Commander Vorthon indicated a female human launching herself over a horizontal bar, nearly 2 meters high. Is 15. She just cleared a height our zero-gravity specialists require repulsor assistance to achieve. Another human, appearing even younger, was flinging a metal sphere across distances that would astonish artillery experts. The sphere weighs 7 kilograms, Dean Zalmuth said, his voice hollow. He's projecting at 43 meters through the atmosphere using only biological muscle power. Weapons instructor Plexner's spines were fully extended, his species equivalent of a panic response. What kind of evolutionary pressure crafts beings like this? We consulted the xenobiology department supervisor, Yale said. Their preliminary report was disturbing. Professor Quintile activated another display, revealing a historical timeline of Earth's evolutionary development. Human ancestors endured multiple planetary extinction events, ice ages that would freeze most inhabited worlds solid, volcanic periods that would suffocate the atmosphere of civilized planets, meteor impacts that literally reshaped continents. They didn't just survive, Commander Vorthon added grimly. They flourished. Each extinction event forged them stronger, more adaptable, more resilient. The timeline depicted human migration patterns, their spread across a hostile world into every conceivable environment: frozen wastelands, scorching deserts, dense jungles, towering mountains, isolated islands. They colonized every biome on their planet, Dean Zalmuth stated, even those that should have been fatal. In fact, they seemed to gravitate towards the perilous ones. Weapons instructor Plexnar studied the data with mounting dread. This settlement pattern, they actively sought out hostile environments. Look here, they constructed cities within earthquake zones, on volcanic slopes, in regions prone to violent weather. It's not just where they reside. Professor Quintile's tentacles were utterly still. It's what they do for recreation. The hologram shifted, showcasing activities labeled as human entertainment. Individuals hurling themselves from cliffs with only fabric wings, plunging into bodies of water from impossible heights, scaling sheer rock faces without safety gear, and something called extreme sports that resembled elaborate suicide attempts. They pursue this for amusement, Supervisor Yelnek stated flatly. What we would classify as life-threatening emergency scenarios, they perceive as recreational pursuits. Their psychological profile is equally compelling. Dean Zalmuth revealed a striking new display showcasing behavioral analysis. Rather than merely enduring extreme pressure, humans actively crave it, experiencing enhanced performance even when facing mortal peril. Commander Voron highlighted a data cluster, noting that unlike most species who falter under impossible odds, humans unleash an adrenaline surge, a potent biochemical boost amplifying strength, speed, and intellect. They actually grow stronger when afraid. Weapons instructor Plexner's voice cracked. Not when afraid, Professor Quintel clarified, his tone sharp. When they're thrilled. Terror and exhilaration elicit the identical biochemical reaction, rendering them incapable of distinguishing between dread and delight. The holographic projection then presented brain scans contrasting humans with other species under duress. While other beings exhibited diminished neural activity and defensive postures, human brains flared with heightened connectivity and accelerated processing, like vibrant urban landscapes. There's more, Supervisor Yelnek admitted, his voice heavy with resignation. We subjected their genetic data to our biological defense systems. It turns out humans possess innate immunity to 73% of known toxins. Their immune responses are so ferociously aggressive, they proactively attack their own systems for training, a phenomenon they dismiss as allergies and a minor annoyance. Plexner sank into his seat, defeated. What else is there? Dean Zalmuth, visibly hesitant, consulted his notes. Their world circles a yellow dwarf star. The radiation levels would necessitate robust shielding for nearly all life forms. Humans not only withstand direct exposure, but actively require it for survival. They need stellar radiation to live, converting it into biochemical energy through their skin. Deprived of this constant exposure, they weaken and fall ill. So their bioweapons are solar-powered, Commander Vorthon stated grimly. Brilliant. Professor Quintile activated a final chilling display. Their military history. The hologram unfurled a millennia-long chronicle of human conflict wars waged across every conceivable landscape, under every imaginable condition, employing ever more deadly weaponry and ingenious tactics. They have been engaged in ceaseless warfare throughout their recorded existence, he murmured, not merely against other species, but against one another. They have elevated conflict to an art form. The timeline traced their military evolution from rudimentary arms to city-obliterating instruments, but the most alarming aspect was their tactical progression strategies growing progressively intricate, adaptive, and utterly merciless. The latest clashes, observed Overseer Yil Nex, erupted on several continents at once, a global inferno waged in every imaginable landscape. They deployed a symphony of coordinated air, naval, terrestrial, and celestial armaments. Celestial weaponry, Instar. Instructor Plexnar's tendrils quivered, aware of their orbital warfare prowess. For 60 years, they had launched objects into space via controlled detonations. Dean Zalmoth observed, where they lack technological refinement, they compensate with sheer audacity. Commander Vorth Ann slowly rose, his ceremonial cranial ridges flattening in a gesture of species-wide unease. Colleagues, he declared formally, I believe we must reevaluate our admission protocols. You mean refuse their request? Professor Quintal inquired hopefully. I mean to approve it immediately, Vorth Ann countered, and pray they never deem us adversaries. Yet that wasn't the true source of their dread. At 0347 hours, 3 days after the urgent faculty convocation, the secure communications array within the Academy's core hub crackled to life. Commander Vorthon, still groggy from his quarters, found the duty officer rigidly stationed, his expression a mask of barely contained terror. Sir, Communications Specialist Drexel's voice trembled. We have an incoming transmission from Earth, priority level well, sir. They created a new priority level specifically for this communication. Vorthon's spinal ridges snapped to full alertness. What kind of new priority level? They're calling it Cosmic Significance, Drexel reported. The message header reads, regarding recent inquiries into human physical capabilities, urgent clarification required. A chilling realization struck the commander. They knew about the investigations. Sir, Drexel continued, that's not the unsettling part. The unsettling part is they're not angered by it. They're enthusiastic. Within moments, the entire senior faculty convened in the communications center. The main screen flickered, revealing a human in what seemed to be a military dress uniform, bearing the nameplate General Patricia Harrison, Earth Defense Command. Greetings, Galactic Academy, the human announced with a smile that was both disarmingly friendly and profoundly unnerving. We understand you've been reviewing our cadet application and have some questions regarding our physical training standards. Dean Zalmoth stepped forward, his usual composure fraying. General Harrison, we appreciate your swift response to our inquiries. We were hoping to clarify certain aspects of your assessment footage. Of course, General Harrison replied. We are always eager to share information about our military preparation programs. In fact, we've prepared a comprehensive overview to help you better understand human capabilities. The screen transitioned, displaying another human training facility. This one, however, was different, larger, more advanced, and populated by individuals who made young Tyler appear as a child, merely playing. This, the general stated, is our advanced infantry training. At the training facility, General Harrison's voice echoed, overlaying the visuals. These are our baseline enlisted recruits. Not special ops, not elite squads, just ordinary soldiers meeting standard benchmarks. The screen displayed figures navigating punishing obstacle courses that seemed to defy physics. They hauled impossible equipment loads, traversed treacherous landscapes, yet maintained perfect formation and crisp communications. That load-bearing exercise, General Harrison remarked casually, demands each soldier carry 68 kilos across 15 kilometers of brutal terrain. The time to completion is typically under 2 hours. 2 hours. Training supervisor Yil Nex nearly choked. Our mechanized units need powered assistance for that kind of load. Now we move to cold weather training, the general continued. The chilling visuals revealed soldiers operating where exposed bodily fluids would instantly freeze. External temperature sits at 43 degrees C. Exercise duration, 72 hours. 72 hours. Captain Rethval's multifaceted eyes stilled in shock. In those temperatures, they forego environmental suits, General Harrison chirped, as those would compromise the training's aim, preparing them for deployment in truly hostile conditions. Which leads me to our desert qualification program. The scene shifted to a surreal, sun-scorched landscape. Humans marched across the endless dunes, full combat gear weighing them down, their covered faces betraying unwavering determination. Here, the temperature averages 51 degrees C, General Harrison stated. The exercise, navigating 200 kilometers of featureless desert using only a compass and the sun. Weapons instructor Plexar's defensive spines fully deployed. 200 kilometers in that heat? How do they endure? Precisely the point, the general said with chilling nonchalance. If they can't survive the training, they won't survive deployment. Natural selection, in a sense. Dean Salmuth found his voice. General, may I inquire about the program completion rate? Quite impressive, actually. Around 78% for basic infantry, though that's with our new, improved methods. 20 years prior, we only saw about 65% success. The faculty exchanged horrified glances. A 78% survival rate was expected of elite special forces, and these humans achieved it in basic training. Now for something truly captivating, General Harrison pressed on. Our survival, evasion, resistance, and escape program. We call it SEER training. The footage changed to show humans dropped into harsh environments with minimal equipment. Dense forests, towering mountains, fetid swamps, and frozen wastelands. Each biome capable of ending a life-tested candidates who had to survive 30 days with only found or crafted resources. The general elaborated. No food, no shelter, no communication. They'd evade trained hunting parties while navigating towards extraction points. 30 days. Professor Quintile's voice, a mere whisper. Without provisions, while hunted? General Harrison, with palpable pride, stated, "The truly remarkable aspect is that our graduates often find the training enjoyable, a welcome respite from their regular duties. We believe it stems from the opportunity to immerse themselves in the outdoors." Commander Voren felt his species' primal predatory instincts stir. "General, these training programs seem exceedingly demanding." "Oh, this is merely the foundational level," the human replied casually, waving a hand. "Would you care to observe our Special Forces selection process?" "No," the word erupted in unison from every throat in the room. General Harrison appeared taken aback. "Are you quite certain? We have some extraordinary footage of our Navy SEALs enduring Hell Week, and our Army Rangers excel in a demanding mountain warfare program." "Perhaps," Dean Zelmuth interrupted, his voice strained. "We could focus on the academic facets of your application?" "Academic aspects?" The general's expression lit up. "That's even better. Allow me to showcase our War College strategic planning exercises. The screen flickered, revealing humans engrossed in intricate tactical displays, manipulating markers that represented entire armies across three-dimensional maps. These scenarios were so complex, they rendered the Academy's advanced command simulations like child's play. This specific exercise, General Harrison explained, simulates a multi-front conflict encompassing 17 distinct terrain types, 43 separate military units, and engagement timelines stretching over 6 months of continuous operations. The students are allotted 72 hours to devise comprehensive battle plans. 72 hours? Supervisor Yale's voice was now utterly devoid of inflection. Our senior commanders require weeks to plan operations of half this complexity. Well, that's the time frame for the fundamental iteration, the general clarified. Advanced candidates received the same scenario, but with added complexities such as supply line vulnerabilities, adverse weather conditions, and enemy counterintelligence operations. They still have 72 hours. The tactical display highlighted force movements that demonstrated an understanding of logistics, terrain analysis, psychological warfare, and strategic resource allocation, capabilities that would challenge the Academy's most seasoned instructors. The truly remarkable aspect, General Harrison continued, is that these are second-year students. Most are merely 19 or 20 years old. Captain Rathol sank back into his chair. 19. They are formulating strategies capable of conquering star systems, and they are 19. Oh, speaking of conquering star systems, the general enthused with alarming zeal. Would you be interested in viewing our space warfare theoretical exercises? We have been developing some intriguing notions for space warfare scenarios. The display morphed, revealing a holographic chess match, its pieces starships. Humans maneuvered their armadas through intricate orbital paths, meticulously plotting courses, accounting for fuel, and gauging engagement distances with a precision that demanded immense computational power. These cadets are performing orbital mechanics computations mentally, Professor Quintal stammered, a wave of dread washing over him. Without computational aid, how is that conceivable? Our educational framework is exceptionally rigorous, General Harrison responded calmly. We introduce fundamental calculus concepts at roughly 16 years old, and by their arrival at the Academy, the majority of our students can readily tackle multivariate equations. Basic calculus at 16, Dean Zalmuth's voice faltered. A significant portion of our populace only encounters advanced mathematics during postgraduate studies. Indeed, that is truly remarkable. How do you address engineering challenges lacking a robust mathematical bedrock? The query lingered, heavy and unspoken. The truth, a bitter pill none wished to swallow, was their reliance on computers for anything beyond rudimentary calculation. General Harrison, Commander Vorthon began cautiously, perhaps we could delve into the philosophical underpinnings of your military training. Philosophy? Splendid. Allow me to present our modules on ethics and moral reasoning. The screen reconfigured, showcasing humans locked in what appeared to be fervent debates. However, upon clearer audio, it became evident these were not mere academic exercises, but rather practical assessments of moral choices made under immense duress. This simulation confronts the students with situations involving civilian populations, scarce resources, and conflicting ethical duties, the general elucidated. They are tasked with making judgments that reconcile immediate tactical imperatives with enduring strategic objectives and moral imperatives. A harrowing scenario unfolded, forcing cadets to confront an impossible choice, sacrificing a small population to save a larger one, a web of variables twisting the outcome, leaving no easy answers. Before a formidable panel of ethicists, military historians, and hardened combat veterans, they had to justify their decisions. General Harrison's voice resonated. They're judged not merely on their choice, but on the intricate logic guiding it, their willingness to own the repercussions. Weapons instructor Plexner added softly, a hint of gravitas in his tone. They're sculpting them to make choices no one should ever have to make, and to endure the aftermath. Indeed, the general stated plainly. Leadership demands agonizing choices. We discovered that confronting these dilemmas in training forges officers who can act decisively under immense stress without losing their moral bearing. The video displayed youthful faces struggling with problems that would test seasoned diplomats, defending stances rooted in law, ethics, psychology, and the very essence of humanity. Dean Zalmuth questioned weakly, "What age are these students?" "Third-year cadets," the dean was informed. "Most are around 21 or 22. Exceptional students advance quicker." 21 years old, Professor Quintile breathed, awestruck. 21, and they're grappling with ethics that confound our seasoned committees. General Harrison asked, brimming with excitement. "Is there anything else you'd care to witness? We've footage of combat medic training, where students perform surgery under fire, or perhaps our explosive ordnance program. Those students handle live munitions that could obliterate entire cities." "No," Commander Vorthon quickly interjected. "I believe we've seen enough." Before I forget," the general announced, retrieving something. "We've prepared a demonstration of standard human capabilities for your evaluation committee." Every being instinctively recoiled. "Just a simple fitness assessment," the general explained, "to see what your new cadet is truly capable of." The screen flashed black, then revealed, "Tyler Brooks, full assessment protocol. Difficulty level, intermediate." Intermediate? What they had witnessed previously was apparently the easier version. "Wait," Dean Zalmuth stammered. "General Harrison, could you clarify something? Your planet's environment?" General Harrison's smile widened. "Oh, compared to others? Earth is a bit unusual. Our scientists classify it as a Class 4 death world, but we've never understood why other species make a fuss about things like active tectonics and weather. Class 4 death world, the most perilous classification, requiring specialized equipment to study. Yet it was home." Tyler's voice resonated from the screen. "You guys have ice volcanoes too. That's so cool. I've always wanted to see those." But that wasn't the question that changed everything. Within 6 hours, alarms blared across the galactic network. Defense Minister Korstal of the Syndicate Worlds watched reports paint a shocking picture. "Sir," his aide whispered, terrified, "the hegemony wants immediate consultation. The Outer Rim territories activated emergency protocols. Even the neutral zone seeks guidance." Korstal, studying tactical displays, asked with mounting dread, "What's the Academy's current recommendation?" "Sir, they've confirmed instant enrollment, with full honors and all tests waived. Skipping the probationary period. They're rushing humanity's application before the aide's anxious swallow. Fearful Earth might reject galactic guidance." The holographic projection pulsed, showcasing the human assessment, interwoven with war projection models that triggered visceral dread in seasoned strategists. 8 billion souls thriving on a world actively trying to kill them. Flourishing amidst conditions that would be deemed war crimes if intentionally inflicted. Minister Plexadora, Director of Communications, broke the silence. Urgent diplomatic communiques flooding in from every major species. The same frantic question echoes: how do we ensure humanity likes us? Across the chamber, strategic analyst Vexmore wrestled with probability calculations on outcomes if humanity achieved FTL with malicious intent. The numbers screamed variations of total galactic restructuring under human dominance. "Minister, there's more," Vexmore announced, his voice tight with unease. "Their technological evolution defies all norms. It breaks every conventional curve." "Elaborate," Most civilizations advance to overcome environmental constraints. Humans engineer technology to manufacture entirely new obstacles for themselves. The display shifted, revealing humanity's innovation timeline. They invented flight and immediately weaponized it. They split the atom, weaponizing it within mere years. They crafted global communication networks, instantly employing them to orchestrate deadlier warfare. Defense Minister Carex felt the ancient fear instincts stirring within his being. Are you suggesting they transform every discovery into a weapon? No, Minister. They transform every discovery into a more effective method to surmount impossible odds. The weapons are merely a terrifying byproduct. The hologram morphed, showcasing human space exploration, primitive by galactic standards, yet propelled by the same relentless determination that conquered their lethal home world. They aren't charting the cosmos for resources or land, Vexmore continued, his tone laden with growing dread. They're doing it because it's perilous and challenging. Their public statements explicitly outline a desire to push the very limits of human capability and explore the unknowable. They're actively seeking danger. Plexidora's voice, usually calm and collected, cracked with a touch of fear. It worsens. Their long-term strategic plans reference something called terraforming, reshaping entire planets to mirror Earth's conditions. The implications crashed into the room, a suffocating wave of terror. Humans didn't intend to adapt to the galaxy's safer, more civilized worlds. They yearned to transform other planets into horrifying duplicates of their Class 4 death world. Minister, his aide urged, we're receiving a direct transmission from Earth. General Harrison again. The main screen flickered to life, displaying the human military officer, his smile as unsettlingly friendly as ever. Minister Corexile, I trust I'm not intruding on anything vital. General Harrison, the minister responded with a measured tone. And how may we assist you, General? Allow me to assist you. Tyler has a query regarding the Academy's training amenities, and we deemed it more efficient to address it directly rather than navigating through official protocols. Every individual present stilled. Tyler had a question. The human youth, whose effortless physical feats had unleashed cosmic alarm, possessed a question concerning the training facilities. What would he wish to know? The display reconfigured, revealing Tyler, the very teenager who had conquered insurmountable physical trials with the joyous spirit of one engaged in sport. Hello all, Tyler greeted with a bright wave. I was curious about the Academy's gravity adaptation systems. General Harrison shared some visuals of your grounds, and I observed you possess adjustable gravity environments. Defense Minister Korkstall inclined his head deliberately. Indeed, we do. They are mainly employed for species acclimatization and particular zero-gravity exercises. That is quite remarkable. What is the highest gravity increment available? The inquiry lingered, heavy and oppressive. Strategic analyst Vexmore consulted his data slate, his appendages quivering. The highest setting is 2. 5 standard gravities, Korexdal responded weakly. It's reserved for the most brutal conditioning of our most exceptional soldiers. Tyler's face shone with undisguised elation. Incredible! That's precisely what I need. Back on Earth, I usually train around 1.2 Gs, so 2.5 sounds like a wonderfully intense challenge. Would I be able to incorporate the gravity chambers into my regular fitness regime? Regular fitness regime. The boy wanted to use their near-lethal training facility for his everyday workout. Tyler, the defense minister began cautiously, our gravity chambers, even at their lowest settings, are profoundly dangerous stress tests. Most species require intense preparation and continuous medical observation. Really? Tyler asked, truly surprised. That's fascinating. What sort of preparation? Plexidora, the communications director, nervously consulted the technical specs. Typically, Months of phased acclimatization, complete medical staff on standby, and dedicated emergency escape procedures. Oh, Tyler paused, considering. I suppose I could skip my usual stretching there, if it's that intense. But it still sounds like fun. Skip his warm-up? He was willing to omit stretching for a protocol that pushed the boundaries of survival? General Harrison's voice echoed from nearby. Perhaps, Tyler, you should outline your current workout schedule so they can appreciate your baseline. Certainly. Tyler turned to the camera, his enthusiasm undimmed. Each morning, I start with an hour of basic cardio, usually a 10-kilometer run with sprint intervals. Then I'm off to weight training, standard fare, really. Pull-ups, push-ups, compound lifts, nothing extreme. Strategic analyst Vexmore frantically crunched the numbers. 10 kilometers daily? For how long? Oh, roughly 3 years now. Before that, I was only doing 5 kilometers, but my trainer believed I needed to develop a stronger endurance foundation. 3 years of 10-kilometer runs as basic cardio to build an endurance base. After weights, I usually focus on honing technical skills. K. Tyler beamed. I relish rock climbing, martial arts, and perhaps a swim, weather permitting. Evenings bring team sports and outdoor adventures, depending on the schedule. How many daily hours? Defense Minister Corstal queried. Weekly training? Perhaps 4 to 5 hours total. But I view it as activity, not training. Most of my peers maintain similar routines. His peers? This wasn't extraordinary human aptitude. It was ordinary adolescent dynamism. Tyler, Communications Director Plexidora mused, what pursuits offer you solace? Oh, I love mountain hikes. There's a splendid trail near my home, ascending roughly 2,000 meters over 15 kilometers. The summit view is breathtaking, a perfect way to clear my mind after a busy day. He ascended mountains for recreation? 2,000 meters of elevation gain over 15 kilometers for relaxation. Tyler, General Harrison's voice, soothing yet firm, interrupted. Allow our galactic associates a moment to process this information. Certainly. Actually, I have a final query regarding the Academy. Tyler's smile widened. Do you possess truly challenging obstacle courses? I've trained on advanced military courses here on Earth, but I'd adore trying courses designed by other species. Courses with unique gravity or environmental challenges. Defense Minister Corax Dahl spoke without conscious thought. Tyler, our most rigorous obstacle courses are engineered to test the absolute limits of enhanced special forces operatives. Enhanced in what ways? Cybernetic augmentations, genetic modifications, powered exoskeletons, neural interface upgrades. Tyler's eyes widened in genuine wonder. Wow, that sounds incredible. I've never trained against enhanced opponents before. Might I experience one of these courses? I swear I'll be cautious. Silence descended. A human child sought to confront obstacles designed for technologically advanced super soldiers, promising caution. General Harrison reappeared on screen. Tyler, permit us a moment to consider this. Safety protocols will be reviewed. Okay, General. Thank you for this call. Tyler waved. I eagerly anticipate attending the Academy. Your training facilities sound unparalleled in the galaxy. The transmission ended. The room hushed. Defense Minister Corax Dahl rose, his decision clear as crystal. Communications Director, immediately message the Academy. Tyler Brooks, full honors, unlimited facility access, and the most experienced faculty. Strategic Analyst, initiate emergency protocols for Academy upgrades. I need our gravity chambers fortified, the obstacle courses made even more expansive, and entirely new training regimens designed with the unique limits of human physiology in mind. Demands, Minister Vexmore stated, choosing his words with utmost care. Those enhancements will require funding exceeding our total yearly allocation. Then by all means, locate additional resources. Currently, the paramount concern galaxy-wide is ensuring that this young human receives an unparalleled experience at our institution. But why, sir? Defense Minister Korex Dahal gazed at the inactive display, the afterimage of Tyler's excited visage lingering. Because, 5 decades hence, when humanity possesses faster-than-light capabilities and determines its galactic role, I want Tyler Brooks to recall us as the species that provided him with incredible training tools and demanding exercises. Thus, a new age of interstellar connections dawned, not through pacts or hostilities, but via a young man's sincere zeal for athleticism. Throughout 17 star systems, advanced societies discreetly commenced reshaping their armed forces around the unsettling benchmark of human normalcy.